Okay, to start us off, we are going to start with the SOH. And specifically, we're going to look only at the SO portion of this thing and what that tool is and how it works. So here we go. I'm going to shrink that guy off and stick him over here so you remember. SOH. So. Okay, first things first. What that refers to is the formula, the sine of some angle. And I'm actually going to notate that with a degree symbol, although you're not going to see the degree symbol. But most of the time in this Algebra 2 class, we're going to be working in degrees, and that'll work out just fine. But it would refer to the sine of x, or an angle, equals the opposite side of a triangle divided by the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse. I don't think I spelled that right. It doesn't even look right, but it's the hypotenuse. Now, in order to be able to use the opposite side of a triangle and a hypotenuse of a triangle, we have to look at a triangle. So let's draw a triangle here. Here's a nice triangle. Now, SOH, this thing up here, only works for right triangles. That's important, meaning that one of the angles is equal to 90 degrees. If you don't have a right triangle and one of the angles is not 90 degrees, you can't use this tool. Okay? So, and let's pretend for a moment, as we start labeling some things, that this angle right down here is your x degrees. If that's your x degrees, then the side opposite the x, meaning we look at the x and we go directly across, that would be the opposite side. Okay? You look at the angle and you go across and you find the opposite side. Now the hypotenuse is you take your 90-degree angle and you go directly across from the 90-degree angle and you have your hypotenuse. Now those are lengths, right? All triangles have lengths. The length of the opposite side would be from here up to here. That's a distance, that's a length. And the length of the hypotenuse side is from here to here. In the real world, you're going to see those. Maybe sometimes we're going to look at miles, sometimes we're going to look at feet. But it's a real number, and that's important. It's not just a drawing on a piece of paper. It's a real and live number. Okay, so we've just done a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to see if I can't shrink these things down and move this over here so we have it as a reference. Okay, so now, for example, let's pretend that we were going to be a survey company. That sounds good, a survey company. And I am looking at a tree. I am looking at a tree. No, that doesn't make any sense. I am going to be a slide manufacturer. That's better. A slide manufacturer. Manufacturer. Again, spelling. Oh, it's atrocious. And let's say, for instance, that the slide can't be steeper than 30 degrees. Okay, so here's a slide. There's the right angle. And this right here is 30 degrees. Let's also say that because it would be really kind of dangerous, it's a kid slide, we don't want the highest point on that slide, we don't want this highest point on that slide to be more than 10 feet. 10 feet tall. So the question here would be, how long is the actual slide surface going to be? Right? That sounds like a good question. So to do that, we can use our tool, which our tool is right here. Because again, we're looking at 3 parts of a triangle. We have the angle, the opposite side from the angle, and the hypotenuse. When we have those 3 parts, we use the SO from SOHCAHTOA. So we just plug it in. At this point, it's a matter of plug and chug. So I'm going to kind of write it out. Here we go. We'll go green. Green's a good color. So we would have the sine of 30 degrees is equal to, the opposite side is 10 divided by the hypotenuse. And then I'm going to shorten the hypotenuse, and I'm just going to call it h, because it works better. The calculator likes the letter h a little bit better. There. Okay? Now, when you do this, there are, of course, algebra ways to rewrite this, but at this stage of the game, let's say that you can write that thing correctly. So let's just figure out, how do you deal with that on the Inspire? So this is when you say, wait, there's another tool that can solve any equation on the Inspire in only one variable, and that equation was called NSolve. Right? And then because we're the variable in this equation here, because the variable is in h, I need a comma h, like that. And let's pause the video for a moment, and I'm going to... Okay, so continuing on, I just used my Inspire, and I typed in this entire thing exactly as you see it there. NSolve, you can type it out. Don't forget the parentheses. Sine, I used the 30-degree symbol right there, and I found that down on the right-hand side next to the letter G. And then I used the fraction bar here, which is under the division key, and I did comma H. And what I got was a grand total of H equals 20. Ta-da! So that means what? My hypotenuse of this slide right here is 20, or in real terms, it is the length of the slide. So if I want a 10-foot slide at a 30-degree angle, it's going to be, the actual slide itself is going to be 20 feet long. Whee! Isn't that fun? Now I would like you to do one question from, no, actually we're just going to start another video.